Greetings. First of all, I want to wish everyone a very, very blessed Samhain. I wanted to make the video today. I thought it would be fun to show you some of the preparation that we are doing for our own Samhain here this evening in our home. It's very late. It's very late. It's already starting to get dark. We were busy. Made 140 bratwursts today for some event that we're going to tomorrow, so got a little late start, but that's okay. Fortunately for us, Samhain is going to, we have a lot of activities planned. And we did start last night. We went to a public ritual. I want to tell you a little bit about that. That was very fun. A wonderful way to start out the season. We sort of did a jump supper with our ancestors. Everyone brought a photo of someone who had passed over, and we had a lovely altar there, and we had candles, of course, and then we each sat and had some meditation and music and things, spent some time with our loved ones, and it was really, really, really fun. It was really fun. I enjoyed that. You know, being solitaries, we have not a lot of experience with group ritual, with group pagan ritual, and it's fun every once in a while, you know, to go and be with another group of people to do it. I'm not exactly someone who would do a coven. I don't think I would. I'm too independent for that, but I do love it once in a while to have that sense of community, which we had last night. So that was lovely. And we actually brought some candles back from the ritual, which every time we have a ritual, there's some thing that we do, some activity, and as a part of it, we bring something with us away from the ritual to use in our own private practice. And I love that. I really love that, because isn't that what it's all about? It is all about, yes, the day Samhain, but Samhain, remember, is a season. This is the beginning of Samhain. It will be Samhain until the wheel turns again, and it is Yule. So we have lots of time to feel the season. We have lots of time to do the activities of the season, and I hope every one of you takes advantage of that. Yes, Halloween and the actual Samhain day, one day. Day of the Dead, we're fortunate to go a few days yet through the weekend. And some people take it a little beyond that. That's okay. But for the season of Samhain, it is going to extend for a long time. So this is the time, remember, it is a harvest, the final harvest. It is preparing for the winter, all of those things. I don't need to tell you. You probably could teach me a few things about Samhain. But anyway, I'm excited. And one of the things I wanted to share with you this evening, excuse me, I'm going to be probably looking for my book of shadows here, but one of the things I have to do before we can have our own little private ritual here is to make an incense blend. Remember, I told you that I do make a general incense blend for each Sabbath. I usually make one for use on the altar, and I use it until till it's gone, actually. If there would be any left over, I would burn it in with the rest and spread it out with my ash like we did. We had some housekeeping we did this morning, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little later, but I thought I could maybe work as I mix. And I'm going to be mixing and pouring into a bowl. I have another bowl here because I have to make enough incense blend for this altar and for the altar in my bedroom, my ancestor altar, which we're going to be using both of those tonight in our own private ritual. So the first thing that I'm going to put in, now I want to remind you, when I make my blends, I don't really have a recipe. I do look in my cupboards and see what I have and see what properties those am I looking for the ritual, what would be appropriate for the season, okay? And for this, it varies. I don't have a recipe that I use every Samhain, for instance. I might have some things that I use normally, but with a few variations. I do not have like 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, because I don't really cook like that either. When it feels good, it's good. When it feels good, it's good. So, first thing I'm going to put in is mugwort. Now, mugwort, and I just have a new bag of it here that I got from the Gift Goddess in San Clemente. A little plug for her, for Lady Deborah. This was a real fun herb. It's an herb, and it was used in Anglo-Saxon Britain to cure people who fell of what they called elf shot. A funny kind of a term for disease. But when they couldn't explain what was the matter with somebody, they said, "Oh, it must be elf shot." They blamed the disease on the invisible arrows of the Fae. So, which I think is kind of cool. Now, when I grind my, I hope this doesn't make too much noise. But when I grind, I don't have to have a powder. I don't need a powder. I'm just looking for something. I don't want to put a tree, because, I do burn on charcoal discs, and I don't want to put a tree on a charcoal disc. So I want it rather fine, and I wanted something that will blend. But most of this stuff blends up very easily, so. And again, I don't necessarily, sometimes you'll get a recipe for incense, and they will say, "Oh, mix everything separately and then put it together and do the resins first or the last or the middle," or I don't know. Do what you want. I don't think that's important. If it's important to you, do it. But so anyway, I don't know if you can see, but I'm just really sort of breaking. Can you see that? I don't know. I'm just sort of breaking it, smashing it up a bit, and then I'm going to dump it into my bowl. On to my next thing. Okay, and I put a good bit of mugwort. I do love mugwort. Mugwort has been used in the 9th century. I'm going to read again a little bit from my Book of Shadows, because I think this is sort of interesting. A leech book. It's called Bald's Leech Book, which was an herbal, a publication in the 9th century. The 9th century used mugwort to cast out demonic possession, and I love this. The author recommends heating a large stone in the fireplace, sprinkling it with mugwort, adding water to make a steam, and then inhaling it. What is that? Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? I think that's very cool. Okay, the second ingredient that I'm going to add is catnip, which is a member of the catmint family. And this shows up if you are I think that's good. This shows up in Culpeper's herbal, which is a 16th century herbal, if you are familiar with that. It mentions making an infusion of the catmint as a tea, and that was called catnip tea. C-A-T-N-E-P-T. Catnip tea. Perhaps that's where catnip came from. I'm not sure. But anyway, for one thing, it's a good thing for restlessness. And the spirits are sort of restless at this time of the year, and so maybe that's a good use for it there. Also, in Good Fare, we know about animal magic, and oh, good heavens, I have enough cats. I certainly know about catnip. And lastly, it also will attract the good spirits and bring great luck, which is really good because this is the Witch's New Year, and we do want great luck for the new year, so that's really cool. Okay, rosemary. This is dried rosemary. I'm just going to throw it on top of the catnip, and I'm going to use it all because it's sort of getting ick. I grow rosemary, but I don't normally put fresh rosemary in an herbal blend, although I have known to. I sometimes will throw a sprig of rosemary onto, oh, that's really dry. It's really, excuse me. My hair's sort of bugging me today. Anyway, I will sometimes throw a whole sprig of rosemary onto a fire. But for the blend, I want to use dry. And again, I'm just pulverizing it up a little bit. But rosemary, we know it as a remembrance herb. Everybody knows that. As it strengthens the memory and affects the hearts. Many cultures consider it also something that will protect a home from evil spirits. In England, it was burned in the home of those who died from an illness, and also placed on coffins before the dirt was thrown in on top of when the grave was filled before the grave was filled with dirt. Traditionally, bundles of rosemary hung by your front door may keep harmful people from entering your home. And remember, for Samhain particularly, we are taking care that while we're inviting the good spirits in to come and visit us, those of our ancestors, we don't want the bad ones. We don't want to have just anybody coming through the door, right? So we do have some protection that we put up. Okay, sage. I put in sage all the time and everything, and I grow sage. So I always have sage in things. And it's very dry. Get up the leaves. I bundle the usually every full moon I will go and take enough for one bundle off of my sage bush, and I make a bundle. And sometimes you just have to get in there with your hands. You know, if you're not somebody who likes to use their hands for something, this might not be the craft for you to do, but I love to use my hands. Anyway, I take one such sage bundle every full moon off of my plant. But if you from a garden, you always have like stuffed dead ones hanging down, laying down on the ground around, or branches that have come off with the trimmer or whatever has, and so those I pick up every one of them, and blessed sage, I pick up every one and bring them in, and we just put them in bowls. I just put them in bowls around my house. I might have showed you this before. Sort of like I do with the roses from my friend's garden. And use it as I need to. Okay, so I'm just mashing the sage. The next thing that is one thing I'm going to say. I sort of got ahead of myself. Sage, of course, we already know will cleanse your space. We do that all the time. We witches know that. We always are smudging things with sage. But since ancient times, it has been burned during religious rituals. The Arab physicians in the 10th century believed that it could bring about immortality, or at the very least would give you a very long life. So I love that. So in goes those. And the only reason I'm dumping these as I'm going is as my mortar gets a little full, I just need a little more room in there. Okay. Another thing that I use a lot, again a new bag from the gift goddess, is patchouli. And patchouli is something you either love it or you do not love it. And I love patchouli. It gives me a lot of memories, a lot of happy memories with patchouli. I use it a lot. Patchouli, it's good for attraction spells, so it will attract things. What do you want to attract? So it's good if I want to attract my ancestors to come and visit me later this evening. But it also is very good, while it'll attract them, it is also good to help keep the negative ones away. So that's why patchouli is really good for a Samhain incense. My table is a little high for me to use this tool. It's better if I have a little more leverage, but it's working. Okay. The next one is, this is one I don't use very often, but I do like to use it right here, and this is called pennyroyal. I'm not sure if you're familiar with pennyroyal. Oh, it smells, I'm not sure what it smells like. This is a really good one for Samhain. And the quote I have in my Book of Shadows here, its magical smoke removes misfortune from men, animals, fruit trees, and crops. Which I have all of those things. Plus, it is often associated with money magic. And we do own a business, and we need to draw in all the customers and prosperity that we can in the new year. So pennyroyal is definitely going into this mix. Not too much, but some. And give that a little bit of a thing. Now, when you're making a blend, it's important to have a little bit of a combination, a mixture of some things. And again, you can work this as much or as little as you want. It doesn't have to go too much. I just like it. And sometimes if I find two big things that I didn't really get to when I go to put it on the burner, I'll break it up a little more. There's nothing wrong with keeping your fingers fingers in it from time to time. Okay. One thing I do love to use, let me back up a little bit. When you're making an incense blend, and this comes from the Dragon Marsh, which is it's a local, I see them a lot of events. They sell, they come to STA events, but they also come to Pagan Pride and things like that, so they're really cool. They have a lot of teas and a lot of stuff like this. It's very nice. They might have a website, Dragon Marsh. Anyway, when you're making an incense blend, it's important to have a good combination. You want a combination of herbs. Now resins, you want to pulverize them pretty good, because they're like little hard. You know what they are. They're like little hard resin things. Anyway, you want a combination of herbs, resins, woods, whatever. I sometimes have more than one resin. I always use resins. I don't always use wood, but in incense. But tonight I think I have one. Yes, I have one I'm going to use. But remember my video about the wood? If you watch it, it was a long video. Again, I apologize. But if you don't have the combination, if you just have herbs, it's gonna burn up like that, and it's going to smoke a lot. So the woods, the resins, help slow that fire down a little bit and give you a nice. And I'm gonna keep this at the bottom of my pestle here. So my mortar, and grind some more on top of it. Another thing I have is this spice and cloves. And we cook with cloves, right? Oh, what I want to say, I'm so far ahead of myself. I'm freaking out. Copal. Now, we use it a lot. I think a lot of us witches use it a lot. We love the smell of it, let's be honest. It smells lovely. I don't know what it smells like, but it smells lovely. But it is used very, very frequently all over Mexico as a incense in their churches for the Day of the Dead. Oh, this is the #1 incense that they use. This is the scent for Day of the Dead. Copal. The scent of copal is said to help the souls find their way during their visit. And the quote I have in my book Shadows here, which I loved, maize or corn is the food of the people. Copal is the food of the gods. And I thought that was really a neat quote. Okay, now on to clove. And a little bit of clove. I know clove goes a long way. Okay. Clove is good to burn as an incense. One thing I love about cloves for a new year is cloves will attract riches, and it will help also drive away negative forces, and it produces a spiritual vibration, purifies the area, but it also, clove, will help comfort the bereaved. Oh, I want to say, I did want to mention, I don't know, this was sort of interesting. Last night at our ritual, we do things, and we're moving around the room all the time, and of course we always are going around and around as you do things, and we had just been placing the pictures of our deceased on the altar and lit candles, and we were going around, and I passed on a carpet. Just as I stepped on a carpet, there's the floor, and then you get to the carpet. I took one step on the carpet, and then I took the second step, and as I took that second step, I felt sadness rush through me. I almost started to cry. It was like bizarre. It was very bizarre. And later I was trying to see who it was that had been standing over there. It was not sadness. I'm just going to have to yank that off, because this is not coming. This came from that shop in Long Beach with the crazy witch. And I can't get it off. I can't get it open. I'm going to rip the bag. Anyway, there was such sadness that came through that room, right in that spot. And I would almost start to cry. But then I stepped through it, and there was nothing there. And I know it had come from one of the people in the room. You know, they were not, whoever they were trying to invite in, I don't know that they were ready. I don't know that they were ready to do that. That's going to be hard. It's supposed to be a happy time, you know. Greeting your ancestors is supposed to be a really happy time. I just put in ash bark, which of course is the wood. This is a really good thing to use, again, for Samhain, because this will form a link between the gods, the living, and the dead that have moved on. Okay, so there we have all of the things that I have put in, yes. I'm going to put them all back in here and give them one final mix. Oh, I don't know what this is going to smell like, but it's going to smell good. Oh, every time I make my incense, I can't wait to light the first one, because you just never know how it's going to smell. There's a risk it could smell like ass, let's be truthful. I never have had that happen to me. It's always pretty good, so we'll see. But remember, it's the property. It's not just... Okay. So that is looking pretty good. Okay. So we'll just put that aside, put this aside, put this aside. Okay. I'll talk to you a few minutes about what else we're going to be doing today. We did some celebration. Our Samhain, like I said, we did a ritual last night. So we don't necessarily have a full-blown ritual. But tonight we're going to do some things, a few things, which I will tell you about in a minute. This is just my husband and I. But we always do certain things that we do on Samhain. Every Sabbath we have certain housekeeping things, I will say we call them. Now, most of the housekeeping things have to do with the Sabbath, but I will be honest, some of them have to do with it's just a good time to remember. Like we do some things on Esbats too. Like for instance, every full moon and new moon, every Esbat, we water our citrus trees. Now that has nothing to do with the moons. I don't think it has anything to do with the moons. But we live in Southern California where it never rains. So, and we don't put our citrus trees on, the sprinklers. We don't want them to water that much. So they only need occasional watering. So we use this Esbats because it's a good way to remember something like that. But now, for things that have to do with it, now I'll tell you, for the Sabbaths, one thing that we do every Samhain, every Beltane, we put up a protection around the property. We are going to be inviting spirits into our home later. We want to make sure that we are protected. I hope you do some kind of protection yourself if you're going to do something like that. We use our insert cord properly with the ash. I think I mentioned that before, that we gather from our cooking and gathering areas. Also the waste ash, I call it the waste from the altars, you know, the ash from the charcoal discs and the bits of incense that doesn't quite burn, or little stubbles of candles, little tiny stubbles of candles that too small to do anything with. I will burn those. And that was done this morning. We did that bit of housekeeping. Okay.